You know, it dawned on me tonight. Agent 86, Agent 99. November was once the ninth month, just like October was the eighth, Octagon Octopus. And we have to look at October 6th also, because it's 86, and they love playing with that. But November 7th is day 311. And we know in 2020, on 311, which was opposite 9/11 on a circular calendar, is when that worldwide health organization declared the global illness to be official. 2 days later, on day 313, our future Antichristos put Los Estados Unidos on LOCKDOWN. Day 311 this year is November 7th. They've always coded 1109 for us. I am absolutely convinced. Now, this is just my flesh. I'm getting no divine intervention. So when I'm wrong, like I've been 1,000 other times, it's just my flesh. If I do get it right, then the Lord decided to throw me a bone there at the end. But day 311 is November 7th, which is 97. The 97th verse is the opening of the seal. And that's that Revelation 6, right? When we start living in the book of Revelation in real time. And because the 98th verse is the crowning, which is the rising day or the possession. But it's Agent 86, Agent 99 on Get Smart, which is death and rising. Death 86, he's 86th. Again, October 6th, the day to look at. But Agent 86, Agent 99. Let's look at two different ciphers here real quick. One I didn't look at. I've been looking at ciphers left and right, and everything has been a direct hit, an absolute smash hit, but I haven't looked at Wednesday yet. Now, this would have the event taking place on a Friday, their very fake staged event. Let's look at the Wednesday series, as woe is in every single. So it is day 1080, 2 years, 11 months, 15 days. You get your 1117 2 days later, but it's really a 2-1 followed by a 117, Revelation 11:7, the beast rising. So 11:7 is coded on the rising day with Wednesday. If you go back to Wednesday, the Wednesday before the event, which would actually be the 5th, you get your 2 years, 11 months, 13 days. There's your 1113 code. Louis C.K. 311 was on the Bill Maher show, which is one of their biggest cipher shows that they have, and where they throw out all their big tells. And CK, the 311, the 11.3 code. Remember, One World Trade Tower opened on 11.3. Um, again, with a 311 that we were just talking about in 2020. So the Wednesday to Wednesday, if you include both dates, you do get your 79, which is MURDER in simple gematria, or red rum, the backward spelling that they used in The Shining. We're going to look at all that, good Lord willing, between now and then, as long as I'm allowed to keep doing what I'm doing. And I wanted to look at Get Smart. Of course, we did. Film Get Smart. It's got the lady from The Dark Knight Rises, of course, Anne Hathaway. No help in the URL. let's go look at the date. June 20th, 2008. June 20th, 2008. Agent 86. 6349. I'm not getting much. Oh, well, it is 907 weeks for your 97th verse. Remember, SIX, SIX, SIX comes to Donald John Trump, and that is 1197 in the Gematria calculator. When we key in the 1197, you get SIX, SIX, SIX. You get Whirlpool, which is where he made that speech on 8/6, August 6, 86. And you get his name, Donald John Trump. Trump was the family surname before it was changed to Trump. And we've shown you that many times. So your 1197, you're getting the 11/9, which is the rising day. You're getting the 97th verse. You're also getting November 7th because November was once the ninth month. So you're getting everything with the 1197, the 666 spelling out, or the match in the Jewish Hebrew gematria, which remember, that's what gives us the number of his name. SIX, SIX, SIX comes to his name, Donald John Trump. So these are smash hits. These are so big. So big. Donald John Trump in the simple gematria is 175, which Revelation 17:5 is where each word is capital letter, mystery, Babylon the Great. And hang on just a quick second. And I'll be right back. All right, got vitamin D under my tongue, so talking a little weird, but 907 weeks. So there's your 97 or your November 7th. So it is in the weeks right there with Get Smart. Agent 86, Agent 99, 86 death, 99 rising, rising on November 9th. November was once the ninth month. If you go Anne Hathaway, who played Agent 99, who was also in The Dark Knight Rises. Anne Hathaway birthday. She is November 12th, 82. November 12th, 82. Let's put her on the rising day. $157.03. Look at the weeks, look at the hours. Nothing's really jumping off. 42 years, 11 months, 28 days. Anyway, that's all I got right now on it. We can take a look at one more set of ciphers. Remember the two total solar eclipses that formed an X across the United States? The first one was August 21st. By the way, that's an exact 3,000 days to 11/7. It was on the 17th. It was on 8/21. And when you run that to the 7th, it's an exact 3,000 days even. His descent, which was when he went down the escalator, which is representing his death, he was descending or going down into the grave. That was on 6/16 on a Tuesday of 2015. You have 79 murder fused with 97. It's 3797 days. The 37 up front. 37 is the 12th prime number. It's the prime number for the church. Look, the hours begin with 9/11. We know to always look at the hours from Meryl Streep's movie called The Hours that she also did with Nicole Kidman. So just everything pops off on that. You look at the 10 years, 4 months, 22 days. Tribulation is in Acts 14:22, and there's 1422 right there. You look at the 124 months, 22 days. 2422 is the amount of days between both solar eclipses that formed the X across America. The Bullet Building is 2004, and it went off on May 28th. It opened. Let's go ahead and look at the Bullet Building. 86. 21 years, 6 months. So 216, but the 86 is coded right there to be 86. 7,863 days. I mean, there it is. The Bullet Building, known as the Gherkin or 30 St. Mary Axe. 30 St. Mary Axe, the Gherkin. It's in the city of London. It's in the city of London, and it is, they show it in James Bond movies or whatever, but it's shaped like a bullet. And we know that's a gigantic cipher for the event. And so, whoop, there it is. It's a smash hit. It's a smash hit on that date. I did want to look real quick. Okay. And by the way, the Alec Baldwin date was, if you include both dates from the Alec Baldwin date, it's 1479. 79 is murder in simple gematria, so the 1 for murder, it's a direct hit. That's how they code stuff. If you watch Robert Langdon or the Tom Hanks character in the Da Vinci Code, that's what they do. That's what we do. We look at clues, we look at ciphers. Everything matters. They use gematria and numbers, which gematria is turning letters to numbers. So, what else? If you look at No Time to Die on October 8th to the Rising Day, there's 213 weeks, and that's when the song came out on day 213 in 2020. Let's take a look at that. Her song, No Time to Die. I want you to look. It's 2,096 days. 2096 is Eve in Strong's Concordance. G2096, Strong's Concordance, Eve. There it is. BlueLetterBible.com, 2096. Eve represents the church for the Lord. It represents the female goddess, Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and their upside down world. It's a direct smash hit. When she's saying No Time to Die, the No Time to Die release date for the song, what's her name again? Song, No Time to Die, Billie Eilish, Wikipedia. You go to Wikipedia, there it is, February 13th or 213. So when I saw the 213, I jumped on it. And it's 2096 days, February 13th, 2020. Go back to it, February 13th, 2020, to the rising day. No Time to Die, he's rising. 2096. Direct smash hit. 299 weeks in 3 days. So there's your 99 on the rising day. In the weeks, also 68 months. 68 is his name, along with Antichrist. In one of the 4 base ciphers, I think it's reverse reduction. Absolutely gigantic big deals. The last thing I want to look at before we get into tonight's Bible study is the release date of IPEC GOAT on their website and then on their YouTube. 4886. 48 is his name in one of the 4 base ciphers. 88 is Trump and Civil Gematria, and being 86. That's to the rising day. But we see what they're doing. If you go to the event day, On the 7th, it's a palindrome, 4884. Palindrome, all coded in the movie Tenet, which we need to look at that date too. But let's go to the July 3rd date of when Sirius the Dog Star goes dormant. It's when Back to the Future came out also. I do need to look at Marty's Twin Pines, but let's run that. It's 4875, so it's going to be 4877, 13 years, 4 months, 4 days. Remember, 4 or 404 is the amount of verses in the book of Revelation. If you run it to the Rising Day, when they released iPad Goat on their YouTube channel, it is 117048 hours, 117. Again, from the movie The Hours, we're told to look at the hours. The 11:7 is the Rising Bible verse, and 48 is his name in one of the four base ciphers, and there it is, 4877 days, and the hours are 117048. I know it's a lot. It's just, I'm just flabbergasted. This date popped in my head tonight, leaving the gym of all places, because of Agent 86, Agent 99, Death and Rising. And then I came home and started looking at all my personal ciphers and other stuff. If we look at 2001, 8825, 8823. So 88 is coded in from the event in 2001, but the solar eclipse is always a big cipher to me on 621 on the summer solstice in 2001, which is, I think, what 2001 A Space Odyssey was all about. And on the rising day, 8907, 907 is coded. And 89, remember, is in his name in the Jewish gematria. 589 and then 1189 if you include his middle initial. And then the last thing I wanted to look at, it just was in my head and it popped out. What was it? Hang on just a quick second. Marty knocking down the Twin Pines was nothing. If we look at May 9th, though, when Trump got shot, the Trump character got shot in the Trackdown TV episode. If you ever want to watch that, just ask me for it if you're on Facebook. 24654. That's not popping off either. But when we go to our running 37 progression ciphers, remember 37's 12th prime number, it goes into 111, 222, 666, 999, every single one of them. The opening of Trump Tower, that was what I wanted to look at. There's your 11.3 code on November 30th, 11.3. So that's a direct hit for November 7th and 37 progressions. The Porsche 718 birth at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. November 718 was the release of The Dark Knight. I think that hit for me too. When he said, I am Batman in the helicopter ride. I Pet Goats official release on June 24th. So even though the numbers didn't pop, it is a 37 progression. Same with GoldenEye's premiere at Radio Music City Hall on 11/13. There's your 11.3 code again. Dr. No's release, May 8th, 1963. And the Lincoln event, which we don't believe any of those things ever took place. If you include both dates, Heath Ledger's birthday, King Kong, 1933. Yep, the 8/12, 2022, when Sirius the Dog Star rose, and it was also the midpoint of two total lunar, two total solar eclipses. Batman's first appearance on 3/30, 1939. Scarface, New York City premiere. Russia, Ukraine, double invasion. I think I spelled that wrong. We're going to pretend I didn't. Amsterdam at Alice Tully. Remember, that's got all the actors. The film Amsterdam at the Alice Tully Theater. And then on the Rising Day, you have the Alec Baldwin Day event of October 21st. Brad Pitt His name's all about the pit or rising, and there he's a direct 37 progression for the rising. Super Bowl blackout, Super Bowl 47 blackout. The time was 13:22, 3:22 coded on the clock. And when the lights went out for 33 minutes at the Super Bowl in Nolans. And so that's a direct hit on the rising day. King Kong shows up again. I guess one's the premiere and the other's the wide release. Yeah, USA release. And then so King Kong's a big player in this. Fahrenheit 9/11 release date, the Michael Moore movie. Fahrenheit 9/11 on November 9th. Interesting. Lord of the Ring, The Two Towers. Remember, the following is Lord of the Ring, Return of the King, which represents One World Trade Tower. Previous movie was called The Two Towers. Two towers fall, one rises. That's Return of the King. So Pink Floyd, Time, Alarm Clock is a direct hit if you include both dates to the rising day. So is Live and Let Die and The Mechanic, which both movies were on the El Portal movie marquee in the film Licorice Pizza. The Mechanic was released on 11/17 for the Zechariah 11:17 Bible verse of the right eye wound. These are all big deals. I mean, this date has by far just leaped into first place as far as the highest watch date that we can look at for them to pull off their fake staged event, the right eye wound to the twin clone body double, whatever it will be. Let's get on with tonight's Bible study. And we're at Revelation 21, 7 through 15. He that overcometh, and all sheep will, shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, the unbelieving, these are all goats, the abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, and the sorcerers, and the idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Hell is not eternal torment for humans, only for the sheep, fallen angels. And there came unto me one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and he talked with me, saying, Come up here, and I will show you the bride, the Lamb's wife. And again, that great city is always where our Lord was crucified, and now it was cleansed through see previous studies for the earthly kingdom, for judgment to take place. But now it is a complete heavenly spiritual restructuring. Remember, we have no memory of this life here on earth once we are with the Lord in this new holy great city, the Holy Jerusalem. So let's read over it. And he talked with me, saying, Come up here, and I will show thee the bride, comma, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates. By the way, November 7th, 7/11, most countries write the date. It's 11/7. Most countries write the date backwards, 7/11. So think about that. The store, 7/11. Interesting. Anyway, and had a great wall high with 12 gates, and of the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the name of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east, 3 gates. On the north, 3 gates. On the south, 3 gates. On the west, 3 gates. So 4 sets of threes. The wall of the city had 12 foundations. Remember, 12 number for the church, and in them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he talked with me, and he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof and the wall thereof. Let's move over to John 4, a few verses there. Then we get into chapter 5. So the Father knew that it was the same hour in which Jesus said unto him, Thy son liveth, and himself believed, and his whole house. So everybody in the house believed after this healing, this miracle that Jesus did. This is again the second miracle that Jesus did when he was come out of Judea into Galilee. Chapter 5 begins with, After this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethsaida, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of people that have, trouble walking. They have limbs that are, um, they're handicapped. Also, it goes on, comma, then it goes on to say also people that are blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving water. So angels will stir up this water and people will go into this pool and be healed. Remember, the earth is supernatural because you're living in the Word of God in real time, like we will be once the Antichrist receives his deadly wound, or at least on the 3rd day, because the abyss will be open. The abyss is the North Pole. I heard something called, I saw something on TV tonight that said RAMICE, an event that happened in Chicago. Anytime it makes the news, I have a really hard time believing it. And ramming the ice opening, the abyss is at what is known as the North Pole. Again, Mr. Freeze. All the villains of Batman, who's the Illuminati's comic book version of the Antichrist, all the villains are characteristics of God. Like Jesus spoke in parables. The word riddle and parable is in the same Bible verse in the Old Testament. And so that's what the Riddler's all about. It's Jesus speaking in parables, or his sheep that speak the truth, but nobody can understand it. So anyway, for an angel went down at a certain season in the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he or she had. A certain man was there and had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him laying down, he knew that he had been now a long time in this situation. And he said to him, Would you like to be made whole? And this handicapped gentleman answered him and said, Sir, I have nobody to help me when this water is troubled to put me in the pool. But while I'm coming, other people step down before me, because it did say you had to be first. We did read that part. That is the end of tonight's study. I'm glad you're here. I love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.